Hello, everyone. Hello, guys. Welcome to this webinar. I can say that I recognize all the names so far, all the people they joined, and that's fantastic. So how are you guys doing? How is trading going so far? I hope everything is fine with your tradings. Let me just share this screen with you at this point. Let's just clear out this. So we are waiting for Paul to join us. Guys, please make sure you follow us on the Instagram page. I will paste the link here. And also on the YouTube channel, simply because we upload a lot of valuable content for you. And here is the YouTube channel. You can find here a trading spotlight or Paul's recording webinars. So if you missed some webinars, that's a great opportunity for you to watch them. And please make sure you like and subscribe up. What did I press? What did I press here? I think that's the YouTube channel. Let me just refresh the page. Yep. So please make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel, simply because it's the tool that will help you the most to receive all notifications when we go live, when we post recording webinars. And that's a brilliant tool. Yeah. So at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the one and only, to Mr. Paul.
Good afternoon, Theo. Thank you for that. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
It is always an honor and pleasure. How are you doing, Paul?
Too kind. All the better for seeing you, Theo, as you well know. All the better for seeing you.
Thank you. So I believe that the audience are ready for you to give them all the knowledge they need to get. So the stage is yours.
Excellent. Thank you, Theo. And have yourself a good Christmas. If I don't speak to you beforehand there and such. And,
sure, likewise.
I'm hoping everybody can see the my slides, and that hopefully they can all hear me and see me. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to have you all here. Thank you for that introduction from Theo. Here we are for session 14 of Paul's Ultimate Price Action Guide. And what we're going to talk about today is reviewing your trading in order to improve your performance. So the old price action guide sessions here, they have been a mixture of hard skills that you've heard me say about, individual sort of setups or individual sort of elements of trading, and then also the soft skills. All right. Okay. So things like reviewing your trading to improve your performance, sort of things that completely new traders don't always appreciate, but those of you who've been trading for a while will recognize that it can actually have a huge impact on developing your performance as a trader and helping you sort of evolve to the next level in your trading performance. So we'll be talking a good deal about that today. So as always, remember that appreciate that here at Admirals that we have a broad range of experience, people who join us for our sessions, from complete beginners to experienced traders, and there'll be something here for all of you to be able to take away and work on. And we also recognize that it's a truly global audience that we serve here at Admirals now. So wherever you are in the world, we hope you're well. Thank you for joining us, and hope you've enjoyed what has been a rather interesting and eventful year for markets. And hopefully you'll be ready for what will undoubtedly be a fabulous year in 2023. So those of us, joining us here, Admirals, a global Forex and CFD broker that have global presence but local support, licensed and regulated across a wide range of regulatory environments, providing competitive spreads on the most popular trading products and allowing you to engage with markets using both the MT4 and MT5 trading platforms. If you have any questions about Admirals, please get in touch with your account representative, and they'll be very happy to help guide you. So not unsurprisingly, this is the price action guide. So we will talk a little bit about those joining us for the first time, what actually is price action trading and how it can help a new trader. But really what we're doing here in today's session, as I said, it's a bit of a soft skills session. And what we're going to be looking at is, we've come to the end of 2022. What can we do to make 2023 our best ever trading year yet? And included with that, there'll be a little bit of holiday tasking for you, a little bit of homework for you to take away and work with, which undoubtedly will help you make 2023 your best ever trading year. We will talk into that. And if time allows, we'll have a little last look at live markets for this year, just to see, how we've gone on this week here, based upon sort of the news that we were looking at last week. Those who don't know me, my name's Paul, traded for many, many years. Okay, primarily I like to focus on FX indices and commodities. I tend to be a trend trader for my longer term trading, and I tend to be a reversal trader for my shorter intraday trading. So, I appreciate most of you have been joining us here now for sessions, and it's been great to see people here and to hear the feedback. And, today is just another session in helping traders understand and utilize price action in their traders. And the reason that, we wanted to put on this sort of series was that it's easy for beginners to be intimidated by the amount of knowledge required to be able to analyze and trade markets. However, with actually just some basic education and understanding of price action and how candlesticks are formed and what they tell us, well, then it becomes easier to analyze and understand markets. So each Wednesday, what we're doing is we're building on previous sessions to help ensure that you're educated and informed how to use price action in your trading. And as I said, it's a mixture of hard skills and soft skills. The hard skills being understanding things like rejection candles or star formations or pin bars, etc. Okay, what the kind of hard skills of people in front of their charts. Okay, just hammering away at their trading. There's also the soft skills, okay, about things invariably about risk management and about managing yourself. And as I said earlier, new traders, they tend not to give as much emphasis to that. All right, whereas actually traders who've been engaged in markets for a good while will realize that that is hugely important and beneficial in terms of helping you become the best trader you possibly can be, which is what I particularly want for this session, as do Admirals. Okay, we want you to be the best traders you possibly can be, and for these sessions to give you some insight and some valuable education that helps you move you forward in that direction. So, if you are joining us for the first time, what is actually price action trading? It's just a very basic means of market analysis using price movement over time. It is popular with both retail and institutional traders. Right? You'll find that the daily chart is there's an awful lot of eyes looking at the daily chart and how price action plays out there. And then with that in mind, that becomes very important for us. We are, as it says, analyzing the changes in prices over time, which is what we'd call the price action. And we normally focus on, as I say, every week about the last 3 to 6 months, but also respecting longer term price movements. And the reason we talk about that is just because I appreciate that the majority of people joining us are trading around their sessions. Okay, their trading sessions are around their everyday life, so they have a job or family commitments, or other commitments. Okay, that they come, and so actually you might only be trading, maybe an hour or so a day, just looking at end of day charts, etc. And so that's what we'll focus on. But the good thing about price action is that, once you learn to read it and understand it, well, then invariably you're in a position to utilize it across all timeframes and all instruments. All right, whether you're an intraday trader or whether you're a big long-term position trader, you'll find that it will work for you. So, we've had an awful lot of sessions. We're up to session 14 already. And, as I said, we've done a lot on hard skills. So things like engulfing candles, star formation, key reversals, pin bars, inside bars, okay, trading breakouts or pullbacks, all these sort of things, which you mainly would say is the hard skills of trading, actually, where you're there in front of the screens, identifying trades, placing them, and managing your trades. But equally, as I keep saying, we also have elements on the soft skills, all right? So things like preparing yourself to make the most of opportunity in markets, managing risk, managing our trades, all right? Using checklists in our trading, which is what we talked about last week. And today we're going to talk about how to review your trading to improve your performance. So, I think we can basically all say that 2022 has been an eventful year in both life and the markets. Right, there's been an awful lot going on, both the good, the bad, and the ugly of that. And there'll actually be, undoubtedly, despite all of that volatility we've seen, there will still be traders who have ended this year in good profits, with others not so much. And so the question goes to you, ladies and gentlemen, have you had a good trading year, or has it been a challenging trading year, right? And please, you can, put it in the chat box or in the comments, or what is it? Has it been a good year or a challenging year? There's no judgment from myself or anybody here. It's all part of a process, all part of a journey towards getting you to where you want to be. But one of the big questions to think about is, regardless of how your year has been as a trader, how are you going to use it to help you next year? Right? Because in this session, what we'll look at is we'll look at some of the ways that we can learn from this year's trading experiences and channel that into making 2023 our best year ever. And that's what we're particularly looking for and aiming for. So maybe you have, maybe you've already done a bit of a review process of your trading year. Maybe it's not even entered your mind to consider it. Well, hopefully this session will start to lift and alleviate your considerations and thoughts about that. But when I talk to traders, and I've worked on trading floors, worked with traders, all right, okay, for many years. When I talk about with private traders about some of their biggest challenges, is that very often what I find is that very often they generally just can't see the wood for the trees. That they're focused on the trees, okay. They're focused very much, especially new traders, on those hard skills. So they want to identify a setup, they want to identify an entry point, okay. These kind of things are what really focus the minds of sort of new young traders, etc. And invariably what happens is they get hyper focused on that, but invariably in doing so they kind of lose sight of the big picture about things like exits. What you'll find is really good solid traders, they're thinking more about their exits than their entries. All right, good traders are talking about they're managing their risk. They are talking about understanding let's say the overall context of the market environment, understanding very simply are we in a risk on, are we in a risk off environment? Is that market trending? Is that consolidating? Is it transitioning? They'll all they'll also be talking about themselves, all right, understanding themselves. Are they really in a good place to trade? Are they rested? Are they hydrated? All right. Are they mentally sort of focused and attuned to what's required to be the best trader they can be? So very often, as I said, I find that lots of new traders that they can't see the wood for the trees, and that's not a bad reflection on anybody. That's part of a journey that everybody goes through. Everybody experiences that. Nobody is particularly unique in that way, but it is about becoming aware of that. How quickly can you become aware of that so that you can basically do what needs to be done to basically improve and involve yourself as a trader. So when I speak to traders, or about this end of the year, okay, traders get in touch because they're doing reviews or they're looking at how their trading's been. And you're looking at, well, what are the kind of challenges that they've had this year? So you'll hear a lot of the very same stories, traders that they've missed moves, okay? Maybe they missed moves because just simply weren't there. Maybe they missed the moves because they just didn't see the setup occurring. Maybe they missed the moves because their fear held them back, all right, from sort of, pulling the trigger on the trades. Or maybe on the opposite side, maybe they were over trading. Maybe they were greed-based trading and they were chasing moves, okay? Just chasing big moves on markets, hoping that they could sort of catch a piece of the run, and invariably that ending out not very well, because they're finding themselves buying tops or selling bottoms. Or maybe they've had things like poor risk management or no risk management at all, and then wondering why they keep hitting the sort of same challenges, okay, with their trading in terms of account management. And then there are the kind of old adages, all right, or let's say the old sticks from trading, namely the traders cutting their winning trades too quickly, all right, okay, seeing a trade going their way, in their direction, and basically grasping a profit far too quickly before it runs much further, or alternatively, seeing trades that aren't working out, that are actually running against them, and letting those trades run in the hope that their trade comes back and actually does what they want it to do. And as you'll hear me say many, many times when it comes to trading, ladies and gentlemen, hope is not a strategy when it comes to trading. Okay, when your trade is going against you and has been running for too long and it's going against you, and you're hoping that it'll turn around, that in itself is probably a good sign that the trade probably needs to be closed. All right, that's invariably the that kind of that's hard-earned, hard-won trading experience that is for everybody. So, lots of those traders will have had those challenges this year. You may have recognized that yourself. You may have made some of those mistakes yourself. And that's, as I said, we're not here, there's no judgment from me. All right, we're all humans. We're all doing the best we possibly can based upon where we are in our journey. But sometimes even just being aware of it is enough to start us thinking about, well, what needs to happen to change that? Okay, I don't want to continue sort of those kind of, let's say, those negative traits, in my trading going forward. And that's where, we can talk about this for the rest of the session. Because, what I very often find, ladies and gentlemen, is that, traders come to me for some help, all right, and invariably, there's a discussion about whether it's evolution or revolution. And as I said, very often traders will come to me for help. And if they have, got to a point where they need the help of, an experienced trader, or coach or mentor, well, then invariably what they're considering is that actually what they need is revolution in their trading, like, just completely, sort of scrap everything, as we would say in the UK, throw the baby out with the bathwater, scrap everything, start again, clean sheet of paper, and just ignore and forget about everything that has gone before. Whereas actually, what I tend to find is that it's more about evolution than revolution. And it's actually more about, if traders put in the time and energy to review their trading performance, to find out, what were the things that they did well, and it might only be one or two things, but it's still something that we can take, all right, and we can utilize. What did we actually do poorly? What did we really do poorly? And also, what are the areas that we need for development? Okay, what were the areas where actually, we thought we knew what we were doing, but actually we didn't really, all right? Those are just areas for development. Those are areas for learning. That every trader goes through that. No good trader ever thinks that they've learned everything, okay, or that the learning curve has stopped, because I can assure you, the moment you do that, there's normally the moment you're about to get a good slap in the chops, all right? So what I say to people, if you've had a challenging year, is, just think about it as part of your journey. It's about evolution versus revolution, and doing a good review of your performance is what will help you pick out, as I said, the good bits that you can build upon, the areas for development that we can put in a learning plan to, and then the negative habits or traits or performance elements that we can focus on mitigating or reducing or removing from your overall trading. So, as I said, if you've had a challenging year, don't be too hard on yourself, okay? This is a chance here, okay, coming up over these next few weeks where markets tend to be a little bit quieter, right, over this kind of, festive season. Well, it gives you an opportunity to take a bit of time to do a little bit of a performance review and start to understand the difference between evolution and revolution trading and what you need to do going forward. So, as we said, many traders will have had a good 2022, and others maybe not so much, all right? What I will say this is about, the really good traders that I've worked with is that, however their year has been, whether it's been their best year or their worst year, really great traders will take the time to review their trading performance in 2022. And what will happen is they will utilize that to power them to greater trading heights in the coming year in 2023. So why don't we have a little look at how we could do that ourselves, so that we could actually start to, use that to help ourselves make 2023 our best trading year ever. And that's, as I said, that's what my aim is, all right? That's what I like to see. I get great pleasure from seeing traders, overcoming their obstacles, okay, developing, evolving as traders, right, becoming the best traders they possibly can be. Sometimes that takes longer than the individual trader wants it to be. And that's not a real surprise, okay, by their very nature. Lots of people who are drawn to trading, they tend to be sort of driven, impatient people. They want, they want solutions yesterday. And actually, but part of it, as those of you who've traded for a long time will know, is part of that is, if you are not patient, it is about developing patience yourself, patience in markets, patience in waiting for your setup, patience in, in yourself, in terms of recognizing that you are on a journey rather than the chance to get to an immediate destination. So let's look at this, and this might be something that you might want to take some notes from if you're not taking notes already. All right, you might just want to sort of take some notes or get yourself a pen and paper. Okay, some things that we can look at here, and as I said, there'll be a little bit of tasking for over this holiday season, this festive season, that you can take away, a little exercise you can do to sort of, as I said, help you review this year and become the best. Make next year the best year possible. So Benjamin Franklin, okay, very wise man, said, by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. And most of you will have seen or heard such a quote, okay, and in whatever variation of the theme it is taken, but it is very true, right? Failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. So a little bit of time here at the end of this year can actually help you, all right, do better in the coming year, and that's what we want for you. And as always, if you want to listen, you can listen to a true market wizard in one of my, probably my personal trading hero, Paul Tudor Jones. You have to recognize that, as he says here, big scale trading requires a high degree of skill, focus, and repetition. Life events such as birth, divorce, death of a loved one, and other emotional highs and lows are obstacles to success in a specific field of finance. And that is, that's important to sort of take on board, to recognize that, as I said, the vast majority of people are trading around their life, or either around their day job, around their family commitments, around other commitments they may well have. And traders, and I have to say, men in particular, okay, they think that they can actually sit and trade in a silo. All right, the decisions they're making within their trading is not in any way influenced by what's going on around them. But I can assure you, things like life events such as births, divorce, deaths of loved ones, other emotional highs and lows, okay, moving house, changing jobs, starting relationships, ending relationships, they all have a particular influence, all right? They will have an influence on your decision making. And it's actually by starting to review your trading performance, you'll start to see those particular trends in yourself. Most of us like to trade trends in markets, but actually as you keep the data and as you start to review your own performance, you'll see that there are trends within yourself as well, right? And the sooner you're able to identify that, the sooner you're able to pick on board and work with them, and that actually becomes enormously helpful for traders. So take a note here. Let's start talking about some holiday tasking for yourself. A little thing that you can take away and start to do over the next couple of weeks. All right. So you will have heard me often say about you're either an amateur with a hobby or a professional with a business. All right. You have to treat trading as a business, and like any good business, all right, all good businesses, they keep a close eye on managing their stock. Okay, they're always on top of their stock levels. Now, of course, in this modern age, we have fabulous, computer and software programs that do that for companies much better. Okay, back in the day when I was a kid on my Saturday job, at a DIY store. Okay, back in the 80s and 90s. We had to do it all by hand, managing that stock, all right? But today we have wonderful pieces of technology and software to make that much easier. But when it comes to trading, your knowledge, all right, your experiences, your understanding, that becomes your stock, okay? That becomes the stock within your business. And like any good business, it's important to do a stock share at least once a year, if not 2 or 3 times a year. So just think about that. All the stuff you've learned, okay? All the stuff you've learned this year, that is your intellectual property for your trading business. Now, because for a lot of people won't have kept a record of it, or they will have forgotten stuff, or they won't give it as much importance as it should be, they kind of forget about it, or because they're just trading every day, they just lose sight, they lose perspective of what they've learned. But it's only when you sit down and start to do a good stock check that you start to realize, well, hang on a minute, look at what I've learned, look how far I've come in these last 12 months. Even if it was a challenging year, you will have made progress, you will have gone forward. And it's capturing that can start to help us, as I said, plan our next year and make it our best year possible. So here's your takeaway, all right, for this holiday period. Here's your homework, okay? Take a note of this, ladies and gentlemen, or by all means, watch the recording, okay, when it's put on the Admiral's YouTube channel. What I want you to do is to take it. You can do it on your computer, or you can do it on a pad. Let's say if you're going to do it on a pad, take a page. All right, a separate page for each of the 4 M's of trading: markets, methods, money, myself. All right, and write down everything that you've learned in this last year about those 4 M's of trading, just on a page. Doesn't Doesn't have to be grammatically beautiful. Doesn't have to even make complete sense to me or anybody else. So long as you can write it down, write down everything that you've learned about those 4 M's of trading. When it comes to things like trading methods, write down all the trading ideas, okay, which have resonated with you. So maybe you've watched some of these, some of these previous webinars here, on the price action guide. Maybe you watched the ones on inside bar and that really resonated with you. You could understand it, you like it, you see it, okay? Write down all those ideas that resonate with you and why. Why did it resonate with you? And equally, write down all the trading ideas that you resisted, that you didn't like, okay? Which were the ones that just didn't speak to you, or you just didn't really understand or get, okay? And also, on another page, write down what you believe you still have to learn about the 4 M's of trading, or areas that you define as as being weak for yourself in trading. Okay, you can't be great at everything straight away. Everybody has to learn and develop. But everybody was a beginner at one time or another. Okay, we've all had to go through that journey. But write down what you believe you still have to learn about the 4 M's of trading and those particular areas of weakness. Okay, so that as I said, festive period here. Okay, certainly over here in the UK and in the West, take a little bit of time away. All right, lock yourself away for 90 minutes and just go through and start to do this exercise. Okay, just utilize it as a time to reflect and review so that you can improve next year. And that's what we're looking for, and that's what we want. So once you've either written down reams of paper, okay, or tapped away on a Word document or whatever you particularly care to use, well, by writing down all of these things that you've learned, you've experienced, okay, over the last 12 months, it starts to provide you with a better perspective. And also, it should also, provide you a little bit of confidence, because it makes you realize that how much you have learned, how far you have actually come in your journey as a trader, right? Lots of traders will just effectively, they will attach their self-worth, they'll attach their progress to the profit and loss of their trading account, to the P&L of their trading account. And that is not always the best way to do it, because then it becomes an emotional roller coaster for people, okay? When the account's up, they're up. When the account's down, they're down. That is not a way to live your life or to be a trader. But actually, by sort of writing down and providing perspective on what you've learned over the last year, will give you confidence and self-belief in how much you've learned, how far you've come, how many obstacles you've actually had to overcome on your particular journey. By writing down what resonates with you, right? Well, then this might be the kernel, this might be the start of your next trading method, your next trading idea. Don't underestimate that. You've learned an awful lot. You've been looking at charts, working through charts, doing analysis, writing down ideas that resonated with you, or ideas that piqued your interest. That can be the start of your next trading method, the next trading idea, which is what good traders are always doing. They keep things simple, but they're always open to being able to learn and understand and developing trading ideas. By writing down what you didn't like, okay, or what you were resisting, you give yourself an opportunity for reflection on, well, why, all right? Why did you resist that trading idea? What is it? Was it fear? Was you just didn't understand it? Was it a case of that you thought that's a bit too much like hard work, all right? That particular trading idea, all of these things, be honest with yourself, right? You have to be, because otherwise it's pointless, all right? Just write down why did you resist? What was it telling you about yourself? Why would you just not want to be interested in that particular form of analysis, or that particular style of trading, that particular, that setup? All of that is absolutely fantastic feedback. Right? It's absolutely great feedback. That's all coming back to you. It's all going to help you make you a better trader tomorrow. And that's what, that's where we all want to be. You just want to be a better trader tomorrow than you were yesterday. Just keep making progress, keep moving forward. And by writing them all down, you need to learn then, what you need to learn. Well, then you have the start of your 2023 goals, okay? And what you'll be particularly looking at. So here's an example from a client of mine. This was for him doing it last Christmas going into 2022. All right. And so Trader Vic. Okay. So in terms of markets, all right, when he did it all and he boiled it down to just effective bullet points, he found that, his best performance came from his intraday trading, not his swing trading or his position trading. And he found that, he did his best when he was focusing on DAX in the morning and NASDAQ in the afternoon. That's what worked for him, based on him keeping good records and being able to go through and reflect and review. In terms of his methods, he liked trading 3-bar reversals on the intraday DAX. Okay, if you don't know what a 3-bar reversal is, I think you'll probably find I've probably done a video in the past on it on the YouTube channel. I'll do another one. I'll do a reminder one in the new year. And for him, he struggled to trade crypto effectively. It didn't really work for him. And that's fine. You can't be great at everything, right? And part of this is by doing this, business inventory, it's about finding out what you are good at, because like any good business, you want to do more at what you're good at and cut out the stuff that you're not good at. Okay, and it's very simplistic, and it might sound very simplistic, but ultimately, when you boil it down, that's what we want to do. Okay, men in particular tend to overcomplicate things. All right, we can overcomplicate things. We think things need to be more complicated or more difficult than they need to be. When in fact it is. Keep good records. Find out what works for you. Okay, and focus on doing more of that. Focus on find out what really doesn't work for you. Okay, what is just does not suit you, and as much as you can, get rid of that. Cut that out. Okay, keep it nice and simple. With regards to money management, okay, the third or fourth M's trader Vic, he realized that he was happy when he was only risking 0.5% of his account per trade. Okay, it was less risk. He was happy with that, and he was most comfortable when he had less than 6 positions, or anything more than 6 positions. He started to he just wasn't focused. He just wasn't able to sort of manage them as well for himself. So all of these things are just learning points. Okay. And in terms of self-understanding it, he realized that he traded much better when he focused on opportunity rather than when he was trading for money. Okay, as soon as he was focused on making money, his trading went awry. Whereas when he was just focusing on sitting down, put himself in the best place to just focus on the opportunity that just comes from an endless stream of opportunities in markets, he tended to trade much better. And he also needed to recognize that he needed to avoid burnout, especially as an intraday trader, all right? Because when he got burnt out, when he got tired, that is what would lead to over trading. Okay, he'd either make sloppy decisions, or he'd make, very poor decisions, or he would just take on too many positions. All right. So, there was just a very simple, that's from a client of mine. That's an example, and just think about that for yourselves. Does any of that resonate with you? Does any of that kind of, could you understand and see where that's come from? If you understand and see how that, just even that simple process of going through that, and just start to help shape how you're going to operate next year. And so to elevate you as a trader, and all part of that evolution, all right? All part of that evolving to your next level as a trader, all part of evolving to your best trading self. So what we also worked with on Trader Vic is that we looked at what were his strengths. Okay, what had he done well? What were the weaknesses? What were areas for development? And how could he play that into his goals? And that was for 2022. So some of his strengths for Vix was that he had good routines that helped him. We talked about this earlier in one of the earlier sessions about preparing yourself for opportunity markets and how good routines can help you. Go back and look at that again if you want to. And he was also very good at journaling. He would keep very good journals, all right, about his trading. And I don't think we will do a session, and we've touched on that, okay, but we'll do a bit deeper session on that in the new year. Some of his weaknesses were that he got impatient with slow trades, okay, trades that just basically lingered, trades that didn't either go to his stop loss or to his target, and just basically went sideways. He found himself getting impatient with that, and there was a learning point from there. And sometimes his other weakness was that he's sometimes distracted by too much opportunity. All right, and there's sometimes far too many things going on as an intraday trader, and he could lose focus by basically being distracted by lots of things going on. His areas for development for that coming year, he wanted to learn about bonds. All right, he wanted to learn about fixed income markets, and he wanted to finesse his entries in order to improve his risk to reward ratios. All right, he realized that whilst he had good asymmetric reward to risk ratios, he realized that by finessing some of his entries, he might be able to just nudge the needle, okay, further in his direction in terms of his reward to risk in his trades. And that's wasn't necessarily about going from 2-to-1 trades to 10-to-1 reward to risk. It could actually just be going from 2-to-1 to about 2.3-to-1 or 2.4-to-1, which might not sound very exciting. But when you start to do that repeatedly, okay, over years, that starts to basically play out in your favor. That starts to make a big difference. And so his goals for this, for that coming year, 2022, was that he was to effectively focus on 3 good trades per day. That was what his first thing was. That was his focus on just taking 3 good trades. It's about quality, not quantity, and also focus on improving his trading metrics. So just, he was good at journaling, and it was just basically getting more data that could actually help him just understand his business, just understand his business much, much better, the more metrics he had, so that he was able to work with that. So, Mustafa says, great advice indeed. More elbow grease to you. Absolutely, absolutely right. Great, that's a great comment, that Mustafa. Thank you, thank you for that. But this was Vic taking a little bit of time this time last year, all right, okay, in order to basically just take a little bit of time to review his year before in 2021, and then be able to utilize that to basically develop himself, right, to start to form a good plan for what was 2022, in order to get himself, working at the best level he possibly could as a trader. And so, what I tend to find is that punters, amateurs, gamblers, they don't like doing this kind of work, all right, because they just think it's a bit boring. They just want to sit there and punch keys and hit trades. But the ones who plan on making a very, good and successful, career for themselves as a trader, this is the kind of work that actually pays dividends, all right? You might not see it immediately. It might actually be, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year down the line where you start to see it. But believe me, it does. All right? And that's why I always try and include these soft skills. That's why I'm teaching these now as well as the hard skills, because I think for new traders, if you embed these kind of good habits, good routines, okay, best practices into your trading business right from the word go, you give yourself your best chance to be able to trade as well as you possibly could. So, ladies and gentlemen, financial markets in 2022, they have provided traders and investors with a bit of a wild ride. It's been an eventful year, okay, with everything that has gone on. But when we look back on it, right, for some traders, that will have provided threats. For other traders, it will have provided opportunity. The question is, which was it for you? Were the markets an opportunity or a threat for you? Okay, and you be honest with yourself. As I said, you've nothing to prove to me. Be honest with yourself, but if you can, it's that first step towards basically analyzing your own trading performance and helping you evolve to your next level as a trader. So, with that in mind, how do we make 2023 our best trading year ever? Well, you can start by reviewing your performance this year. Okay, going through some of those questions we talked about a bit earlier. Just think about what have been your hardest lessons. Okay, don't shy away from them. Don't ignore them. All right. I mean, those hardest lessons might well be they're like the nugget of gold. All right, that helps you become the next, the best trader you are, and the next step in your trading evolution. What have been your biggest mistakes? Okay, own them. All right, embrace them. You're human. Okay, we're all part of the human condition. You're going to make mistakes. All right, so there's no perfection in trading. Anybody who tells you there is talking nonsense. Okay. Talking nonsense. You're going to make mistakes, but the question is, is it mistakes that you are recognizing and embracing, right? Because if you keep making that same mistake, at some point that is, that's not a mistake. That's a choice. All right, you're choosing not to embrace it and address it, and that's very important. And also, what have been your greatest successes? What have you been? And that doesn't necessarily mean the most, the biggest winning trade of the year. All of that undoubtedly, is a nice thing to have. But it could be a whole host of things, because success is a very personal thing in trading. It might be a success that, you made sure you did good analysis. You made sure you only took quality trades rather than, lots of trades, that, you basically always managed your risk, that you always followed your trading plan. All of those they're all successes. Okay. They're all successes that can basically, should be recognized and should be celebrated. And then, as I said, start to build a plan to hit the ground running in 2023. You've got a couple of weeks here. You basically, a little bit of preparation now will help make next year better, okay? Because markets they'll change, things will happen, all right? There'll be all sorts of things that go on with markets. And if you don't have a plan in place, if you don't have some focus and structure and direction, what will happen is you'll be at the mercy of the market moves, and that's not the smartest way to be operating. By all means, we want to adapt to the market conditions, but we don't want to be at their mercy. So spending a bit of time reviewing that will help enormously. So before we finish up, just don't forget to join us next time. So we'll be having a bit of a break here of the festive period. So the next session will be Wednesday, 11th of January. Make sure that's in your diary, okay, for the next session of Paul's Ultimate Price Action Guide. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a price action trading plan for 2023. So some of the stuff that we've gone on here, but what we'll do is we'll build a price action trading plan for 2023, so that going forward in future sessions we can look more and more at markets and based around our plan. So it'll help us start the year with the right plan and the right attitudes. Why is it so important to have simple trading plans, and how can we create one for ourselves? So that'll be Wednesday, 11th of January. Okay, check your inbox for the webinar link, or go across the website and sign up. And I will look forward to seeing you there. So if you want to get in touch with us, okay, you can do. Okay, you can see that there's an email address there, global@admiralmarkets.com, to be able to do that, to contact. And I'm just looking at we have a few minutes left and stuff. Okay, so what we will do is why don't we switch across charts? So just have a quick look at the some of the indices. Okay, that will do that just to finish off our session, because we're price action traders. We're always interested in what's going on, aren't we? So just bear with me one moment, and we'll switch across to the chart. So just bear with me one moment, second, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, actually, I thought what we might do here, yes. Excellent. So, what I thought we might do is have a little look at, we normally look at the FX pairs, etc. But I thought what we might do is have a little look at some of the kind of index and some of the equities and what have you. So, Mustafa said, over trading and miscalculating risk reward ratios have been my mistake. Okay, that you should leave behind in 2022. Thank you for that, Mustafa. That's that's very honest of you. That's very good of you. We appreciate it. As I said, none of us are perfect. We'll make mistakes. Okay, it's part about recognizing them, having the awareness, and then what can I do to deal with them? So yeah, over trading, miscalculating risk reward. Okay, those are two things that they're not great, but they are two things that can be resolved. Okay, they're two things that can be solved. Certainly miscalculating risk to reward ratio, there's ways you can do that, and also over trading, starting to put yourself in maybe a few limits, okay, in terms of the number of trades. Sometimes for even some traders, it's just even putting a limit on them. They're only allowed one trade a day, which means if you're only allowed one trade a day, you have to make sure it's the best trade, okay, that meets all your rules, meets all your plan. Can you do that if you're struggling with over trading there? So that's a little gizzard there for you, Mustafa. Thank you for appreciate you sharing that with us. Anyway, here's the charts. This is the Nasdaq weekly chart there, okay, and what we can see is, here we go, just as just doing a little bit of quick we have been in a very clear uptrend, okay, and there's price action here, okay, and there's star formation, morning star, and then what we had was at the end of last year, this was a key reversal. All right, we pulled away from these moving averages, key reversal, which then became a double top. All right, I was telling us that we had a reversal. We then basically got beneath the 20-period moving average, which we're going to touch on in the new year, and then invariably what happened was we went from making a peak to starting to making basically higher lows, lower highs. And what we had was every time we pulled back, remember we looked at that, we had pullback here, there was a pin bar, a rejection candle there, in a particular case, rejection of that 50-period moving average, which we rejected before it moved down for a few weeks. Pulls back up again. Okay, we can see once again, we put in another rejection candle pin bar off the 50 and the 20-period moving average, which also the next following week became an evening star formation, okay, an evening star formation before price rallied or collapsed all the way, and then it pulled back here. Okay, the kind of the price action reversal on the weekly chart wasn't too great there. Okay, it reversed, but not really a clear signal, not like the kind of the pin bars and the rejection candles or the key reversals that we'd seen earlier. But we can see the price came down, right, and then prices rolled up. But what we can see is that 20-period moving average has acted as quite significant resistance. And last week, after the news of last week, what we got here is this, this candle here it's an engulfing candle, which is also, a pin bar candle, which is also a key reversal candle. Okay, so there was lots going on there, right? Okay, so and not unsurprisingly, this week we have kind of continued to move down a little bit. But the interesting thing is, looking at it in terms of that, it's just very quickly there, 2 minutes of just basically looking at one index on the weekly chart. Those of you who know me know I love weekly charts. Okay, and get some great opportunities from that, some great swings to be able to trade from that. But we can also, utilize that information, because when we start to look at some of the equities, I think I've got an equities profile up here. Yeah, I've just got an equities, but a very simple equities profile here. Okay, that I have some of the major American stocks on, and what I was interested, last week was, Microsoft here. So, we just looked at the overall index there, didn't we, of the NASDAQ? But actually, if you look at, the Microsoft weekly chart, it was not that dissimilar, was it? Not that dissimilar, right? Okay, in terms of the way it's moved and the way it's pulled back, okay, and it's gone away. And what we saw last week was a bit like the index, is that we had, a rejection candle there, a weekly, there we go, weekly pin bar there off that 20-period moving average. Okay, so I'll be looking to see, could it actually drift its way down towards that kind of where that 200-period moving average. That's what I'll be looking for, because that's the overall trend at the moment. That trend is down. Okay, being able to sort of just see on the bigger picture on the index, and then go down to start looking at the individual stocks themselves as to how they are particularly showing up. And the same, I think the same was on Nvidia, okay, which was has been an interesting stock. It's been a fantastic stock for both traders and investors. We could see last year it really rallied up to those highs before it fell down. And every time it pulled back, okay, rejection candles, and you can see it was doing the same thing as the NASDAQ. And then what we saw last week was invariably, price had a nice rally. What happens is it hits the 50-period moving average, which is also this level here. Okay, so we've got this zone here, right, where it touches and taps off it, providing a very clear bearish pin bar, bearish rejection candle off a 50-period moving average. Remember, you've heard me talk about confluence of events, bringing 2, 3, 4 things together at one time and place. That's what we particularly like to see. So, just even very quickly at that kind of looking at that. That analysis, just very quickly, just using price action to very clearly identify, is there a trend in place? Yes, there has been. There's been a downtrend. When price has pulled back, okay, has that pullback ended with things like an inside bar or rejection candle or a pin bar reversal, engulfing candle? Yes, they have, and that provides opportunity. And this is just the weekly chart, okay? And for those of you who are trading around difficult, work commitments, well, this is something that can do, an hour at a weekend, okay? Just take a bit of time, quickly go through all of the big major stock markets and go through it, okay? And be able to find, particular price action setups will start to become very, very, very simple and easy for you, okay? In terms of, it won't have as much time and effort as required as perhaps being an intraday trader. So there was a little question there from Raquel. Hi Paul, season's greetings and hope that you will have a peaceful but happy moments with friends and family. That's very kind of you, and I wish that to all of you here. Many thanks for the training sessions. They've helped and encouraged me. I wish you all that's good and pleasant throughout the coming year. That's very kind of you to say, Raquel. It's been great to have you here, and why don't we just with that in mind, yeah, that's very kind of Raquel to say. Thank you very much. It's unfortunately, time flies when we're having fun. Okay, we run out a little bit of time there, but I hope that session has helped. Just give you a little bit of not only a reason to be able to review performance, but how you could simply do it. Okay, just spend the next couple of weeks. Just take a little bit of time. Find yourself an hour, 2 hours somewhere. Take yourself off to a coffee shop away from everybody and everything. Sit down with a piece of paper and just start writing out. You'll be amazed at what you realize you've learned. You'll be amazed at getting that perspective, how it can help you. And as I said, it can start to be the formulation of a plan that will help make next year your best year ever. So all that remains to say for myself is that, thank you for joining me for these sessions for 2022. I hope you found them insightful and valuable. You'll probably find a feedback form that will come through afterwards. If you'd be kind enough to take a few moments, I would really appreciate it just to fill that in. I wish you every success in your own trading endeavors. I hope that you'll be doing your your holiday tasking, your business review over the next couple of weeks. Okay, if you do, you're watching this on the YouTube channel, what have you, you can put in the comments on what you've learned and what you found. I'm always fascinated to hear it, or if you join us in the next session on 11th of January, by all means do that, and we will, we'll be able to help very happily. If you've done the tasking and come up with a couple of gems, all right, by all means, I would love to hear them, because we'll be able to build them into our own work next year. So have a great trading week. I wish you all a very happy and healthy, holiday season, and to be ready for what I think will be a rather entertaining and fascinating 2023 in markets. And I look forward to sharing that journey with you. Take care, everybody, and trade well, and see you soon. Cheerio.